All right, the letter U. I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute. You said Van Damme. I did. I'm so sorry. So, I originally planned to do Universal Soldier because, according to my Blu-ray, there is a digital. So I figured I had it on my Vudu. I do not have it on my Vudu. Hugh, unfortunately, I was not able to watch it when I was at work, which is when I wanted to watch it. I didn't want to wait. So I got home. I wanted to get this done. So I fell back on the first pick that I had in there, and that's Upgrade with Logan Marshall Green. And came out in 2018. And if you remember from my Annihilation review back when I started this review series, I have the poster, the Upgrade poster in the bedroom, right next to the Annihilation one. This was a surprise for me because it was not on my radar. I didn't even think about it, you know. And I started hearing people talk about it. And I saw the TV spots. I didn't see it when it went out, but I made sure to buy it when it came out on Blu-ray. I've only seen this twice now, and I do that. I watched it once when I bought the Blu-ray. I thought it was pretty good. And I still do. Actually watching it today. I enjoyed this movie a lot. The story here is simple. Gray and his wife are out driving when there's an accident. It is set in a futuristic society where there is future tech, and this gang comes upon them and shoots his wife and paralyzes him by shooting him in the back in a certain spot. Then a friend of his named Aaron shows up and offers him a way to walk again with STEM. Shortly after this, STEM begins helping him find the men responsible for his wife's death. So yeah, this takes place in a futuristic society. I don't know when, and he's the stereotypical guy who doesn't like technology, and he's against it, and he rather, put in a hard day's work than sit there and let machines do it. That kind of guy. His wife's at work in a cushy job with computers and everything, and he is at home working on the car, greasing it up and everything, getting dirty and all that stuff, because that's what he believes in. And so they take the car that he was working on to Aaron, who shows them, technology and stuff. And on the way home, the car deviates, and it ends up having a car accident, or we believe is a car accident, and it crashes in the wrong side of town. And they're pulled out of the car, and they're attacked by these goons, where she is killed. By the way, his wife is played by Melanie Vallejo, who might not be of any note to you, but for Power Ranger fans, she was Madison, the Blue Mystic Force Ranger. Just to point out there. And yes, I've heard a lot of comparisons. Logan Marshall Green's like Tom Hardy, and there's also comparisons that this is a lot like Venom, where you have a voice in your head making you do things you don't want to do, type thing. It's similar, and I will admit this is the better of the two movies, but I still like the first Venom. I have problems with the villain in that, but all things considered, I think that was pretty good too. But this one, actually, that wouldn't be middle of the road. I don't know. Yeah, Upgrade. So he is now paraplegic because they shot him at a certain point that has severed his spinal cord, I think. And after trying to kill himself by injecting medication into himself, using the technology, because now that he's paraplegic, he has to, he has to rely on the technology that he didn't want anything to do with. And his mother, which is really weird to see a grown-ass man being bathed by his own mother. I don't know, it's really weird. But And speaking of the mother, there is one thing I want to talk about when I get to the ending of this, because it's left ambiguous to us what's going to happen to her. But I have a pretty good idea what's going to happen, especially in this. But anyway, so Aaron shows up and he says, I have this thing, it's called STEM. Implant it in you and you'll be able to walk again. But and this is the part. You can't tell anyone about it, and no one else can know you have it. If you do, I'll take it away from you, or they'll take it away from you, whatever, and you'll be paraplegic again. What's the point of having it then? The point of having it in him is so he could do things again. But if he can't do anything outside his own home with it, what's the point of having it? It's shortly after this that he starts looking through the files, and he finds out that the person who shot his wife didn't actually have a gun, but he had a implant in him. And remember that, because that's important later. We come to the cops. There's this detective who's working on the case, and she's the maid from Get Out, and she was also in Unfriended Dark Web, I think. But she's a police detective, and she's on a case, I guess. Thanks to STEM, Gray tracks down, his name is Gray, by the way. Gray tracks down the person, one of the people, finding the military tattoo and tracks it down. He immediately tries to call the cops, but he has no proof since he can't reveal STEM. So they go to the place, and the guy's not there. They go in and they look around, but the guy shows up. So we get this kick-ass fight scene. The fight scenes in this, they do this well when, because now he's not moving on his own. He's moving with the help of STEM. So you have this robotic kind of movement that he has, and the fight scenes. Like, Leigh Whannell directed this, and he moves the camera with the actor, like a dolly or something, spinning thing. It was really cool. The fight scenes in this are fantastic, but he allows for STEM to take over, and STEM starts kicking this guy's ass, and eventually uses a knife to cut the guy's fucking head in half, sever his jaw, and everything, and so he kills the guy. The body is found by the police, and they take it in, and they notice that the guy has the implants on his arms. However, they do say that when they go to talk to Gray about it, they say he was a suspect that was brought in after the murders, but nothing checked out. Did they not notice his implants before? Don't they have to, when they bring a suspect in, check for weapons? They didn't find that he has a gun on his hand? I mean, come on. I find that very unlikely, but he tells the cop, I'm in a wheelchair. How was I supposed to do anything, And one thing I'll say about the initial fight scene here, go away, is Logan Marshall Green. I think they picked a great actor to do this, because it's one thing to act like there's robot things, things moving your body, but to do one thing while also showing a different emotion. Because while STEM is doing his thing, he acts so surprised, like he's not in control of his own body, and it's fantastic. Yeah, he tells her I had nothing to do with it. She leaves. Because he left a boot print, so she's checking his boots or whatever. But she leaves, and they track down the bar where the people frequented, and they find another guy, Colin or Cola, something like that. And he goes in there, he orders a drink, and then he says, "Hey, is there anyone who knows the guy?" Says the guy's name, I don't remember his name. Killed my wife, and Guy walks up to him, this African American guy, big guy. I don't know him. He's like, "Were you there?" He won't say anything. So he takes him into the bathroom, intending to beat this paraplegic guy. He only knows is paraplegic, But Stem takes over, of course, and they fight. He doesn't completely take over, but they have a fight, and he subdues him, and he allows Stem to, torture him to get information. They find out that it was a job perpetrated by Fisk, the weird-looking guy with a mustache that actually shot his wife. So, yeah, he's the one behind it, I guess. And so it's off to find him. However, Aaron, before this, has revealed that he is actually keeping tabs on them, and he starts to try to shut Stem down. There's a reason for it, we'll find out later, but he was trying to shut him down so he can't walk. Unable to go back and retrieve his wheelchair, they run to a hacker's place where they get the thing hacked just as the other two gang members show up, and he fights and kills them. Not both of them. He kills one of them. But the other one gets away. He does have a confrontation with him later, but he, I think I'm losing my... I don't think... Kills the one guy, and it's a cool kill where he bends the guy's arm back and shoots him with his own arm gun. It's kind of cool. He does fight the mustache guy. I don't think he kills him off here, or does he? I think he does. And he goes home, and his mother finds him walking in. So he's forced to tell his mother about Stem. That's a very important plot point that I want to talk about at the end, because it's kind of left dangling. The cop shows up again to tell him, to talk to him about it, and he's like, "I didn't do anything, I have no idea what's going on, Which, to be honest, I don't understand why she's hassling him. She literally has no proof that it's him, other than his wheelchair keeps showing up. The only evidence that she has is that he was there. But every record has him being paraplegic. She even tries to run it through the computer earlier, and it comes up that it's, he's not even a suspect because he's paraplegic. So as soon as that pops up, he could technically file a complaint for harassment, because all the evidence she has against him is circumstantial, and every time someone dies, she comes running to him just because he was in the area. His wheelchair was found, which he gives a alibi for, which, it's a lie, but, she really doesn't have a case against him. If anything, she should be written up for harassment, but, So eventually they find out that this leads back to Aaron. So we're led to believe Aaron is the big bad of this whole thing and set this up. I guess. Despite the fact that he only met his wife that night of the murders, but okay. It's also linked back to her job, apparently. I don't know. But during this, the cop shows up. And because the hacker got in there, Stem no longer is required permission to take over. And I remember when I first watched this, from that point I'm like, something screwy with Stem. So he goes to Aaron, but the detective also shows up, and we find out that this was all Stem. Dun, dun, dun. Stem set it up. Stem was the one who fired the gun thing. It wasn't him. You can even, if you watch the beginning where this happens, the look on the mustache guy's face, he's surprised that it went off. And he was even waiting for the drone So, yeah, the police drones is the future and stuff. So, yeah, it was STEM the entire time, which I slowly figured out. And the reason he was killing all these people was to clear up his tracks. Which will lead me back to the mom, but we'll get there. Cleaning up his tracks, and so he kills Aaron, and then he kills the detective, and we see that, because Gray tries to stop him, but he has no real control, so he puts Gray in a dream state, where he's happy, and he's away, and he's in his own, and STEM is now taken over, and STEM kills the detective, and the movie ends, because he's in control now. This is what he wanted. Couple of hiccups. The mom, she's dead. Guaranteed. There's no way STEM is going to leave her alive because she knows about STEM, and she'll notice when her son starts acting weird, and she'll call the police. So he's gonna have to find a way for her to die, maybe in an accident or something. Hiccup number 2. STEM has now taken over Gray's body, which means he'll still have to pretend he's paraplegic when he goes out in the public. So it really doesn't make any sense when you think about it. Like, I mean, I guess he could say he got an operation. I mean, maybe at this point, maybe he won't be able to say he got an operation or something to fix it. I don't know. But it'll be a little iffy. But to me, I think the whole "you can't tell anyone about me" is because if people knew about STEM, there would be iffiness. There would be, more people to kill. And 2, there would be more suspicion cast on him than there was, even though, there was too much suspicion. I think my biggest problem with this movie is the cop just right away, no other suspects, it's gotta be him. And that's down to movie cop motive stuff, where it's like movie cops, because they automatically suspect what's going on, they think they have their person, they're not going to suspect anyone else, and I feel like someone should have cooled her down. It's like, hey, the guy you're harassing, it's a paraplegic. There is no real evidence other than he was in the area of town when it happened. And he's an American citizen, he's a citizen of his town, he has the right to go wherever he wants. If he wants to go out for a stroll, even in that part of town, that's him. It's purely coincidental, and they have no real evidence. They have a boot print that never gets matched. Really, like I said, it's harassment on her part. Someone should, cool her down and tell her, hey, you can't, But I don't know. But I like this movie, man. The action scenes are fantastic. I like the lighting. The direction by Leigh Whannell is great. So yeah, when it comes to Upgrade, pretty good. And next, we're gonna check in with Hugh Jackman, but it's not Wolverine. Oh no, it's not Wolverine. Something else. Till then, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.